Hello and welcome to this session on new business opportunity for next gen dealerships at the ETAuto Retail Forum 2022. And the panel members are really the expert in the industry who have been trying to transform the dealership and the sales service process of the automobile industry. Let me introduce today's panel, Mr. Vinod Aggarwal, who is MD and CEO of Volvo Eicher Commercial Vehicle. We are also joined by Mr. Tarun, Garg, who is Director Sales and Marketing at Hyundai Motor India Limited, country's second largest passenger vehicle company. We are also joined by Mr. Rakesh Sharma, who is Executive Director of Bajaj Auto. He handles the two-wheeler business and also three-wheeler business of Bajaj Auto. We are also joined by Mr. Vinkesh Gulati, who is President FADA, Federation of Automobile Dealership. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining ETAuto discussion on next gen dealership and what are the changes that is going to come about in the future dealership business, or how is it going to shape up in terms of what are the new business opportunity that is going to emerge. Before I start asking question, I would like to hear from all of you 1 minute of your initial remark on this subject. I'll start with you, Vinodji.
Absolutely. I think this is very important topic because customer experience is extremely important and dealerships deliver that experience on our products. Therefore, if dealers don't move in line with the latest developments in technology, I think we will not be able to give the right service to the customers. So therefore, this topic is extremely important.
Tarunji, what are the new business opportunities that you see for the dealerships that are going to be the next generation dealership? How do you see them transforming? What are the changes you notice mainly going to shape up? And what are the 2-3 main factors that is going to drive the new dealership?
So Nabeel, first of all, thank you for having me here. Yes, your topic is very interesting, and there is something called a next generation dealership. And next generation, in addition to the mindset of a dealership, also we see that this next generation entrepreneurs now, are coming and joining the business. So, and of course, we all know that the customer is getting younger. We have the generation MZ coming in. So what we have seen based on our research is that these customers are really looking at a different kind of an experience. They are wanting everything at their own convenience, and they don't want to stick to that 9 to 6 kind of a routine. They want to be targeted, like I said, as per their time of convenience. They want to be targeted through a video call. Maybe they want to visit the dealerships only for delivery, not for a pre-sales. So a lot of things are happening on that front. So I believe that this also gives a great opportunity to the OEMs as well as dealers to see what could be these new opportunities for these new age customers. For example, probably customer, in addition to ownership, some of the customers may want only an experience and usability. And that is where we see the subscription business coming in, or leasing, to make it easier for him to have a car. So a lot of opportunities are coming. EV space will bring in some new opportunities as well. So I believe this is a very, very relevant topic which all of us should debate and probably take it forward from here. Thank you.
Fine, Tarunji, you pointed out very important aspect of new business opportunity like subscription model, like with EV probably a charging service providing, or the AMC or those kind of setup will come. Also, you pointed out how the customer's mindset is changing. He's not into 9 to 6, but he wants everything at the convenience of his time, and also his place, location. Virtual is taking a lot of space in this. Rakesh ji, your thoughts from the two-wheeler and three-wheeler point of view, where we see a lot of electrification taking place, and that is really going to open up a lot of new business opportunity for the next gen dealership. What's your thought?
Thank you, Nabeel. I actually echo what Vinodji and Tarunji have already said. I think from a two-wheeler, three-wheeler perspective, it's ironical, but I think it is the best of times and it is the worst of times. It depends on how we want to see the situation. We are all seeing that there are some very powerful forces which are converging on us. And the point of inflection is not very far. It's immediate in terms of, the requirement of different type of customer experience, etc. On one side, you have, like you just mentioned, the opportunity of electric opening up. But more than electric, I feel that the revolution which has already occurred and which is going to invade the auto dealerships is the digital invasion. In some other categories, customer expectations are already being set. We are looking at the customer from our lens, but the customer is getting very different experience from Netflix. Customers getting a very different experience from Amazon. Earlier, they used to wait every Thursday to watch their favorite serial. Now all 52 episodes are dumped in one lot, So the whole expectation digital has changed. And like Tarunji mentioned, who wants to stick with 9 to 6? I want retail financing loan at 11 p.m. at night. I'll upload my documents at that point. I think the digital impact is far greater than the EV impact, but both combined are very, very huge. And the additional point is that there are some new business models which has emerged, which are questioning the whole viability of a dealership. So this is the worst of times. And the best of times is the new businesses, EV, digital management. But at the same time, insurgents are there. They're saying that I will do everything friction-free, paperless, human-less. I don't need a physical presence. We've got that model in other categories, and there are new companies in overseas and now in India where they're saying that, direct to home. So it is indeed a very, very important and tumultuous period which we are entering in the sort of automotive dealership industry.
Perfectly right. You have rightly pointed out the transformation or 360 degree. The entire mobility space is changing, and we will probably be more of a service kind of industry than just being a nut bolt industry. Vinkesh ji, your say is very important. You represent your dealer friends. Just want to understand, as Rakesh ji and others felt, that digitization or digitalization is something that is bringing the biggest transformation or change, or it is impacting the way the dealership was run or the retailing or the servicing was done. Just want to understand, among your dealer fraternity, what are the new business opportunity that you are looking at when you are trying to set up the next generation dealerships? What are the big ticket, areas that you are trying to focus that will be helpful, as the traditional form of dealership seems to be on the edge?
So thanks, Nabeel. A very, very important topic for our fraternity. And like Tarunji, Vinodji, and Rakeshji mentioned, there are a lot of things happening for the past 2 years because of the pandemic and because of the changing dynamics of the customer, the need of the customer. See, I'll want to answer this question in a different way. Your topic, which is new business opportunity for next generation dealership, I feel it should be divided into two. One is what is the business opportunity for the dealers who are already there, and the second biggest problem or the topic which all the dealers are interested is how to get the next gen into business, because that is where the issue is. Because if you talk of next generation dealerships and you expect the current dealership fraternity to maneuver that, I feel it will take time. And what we are as of now facing resistance is the way we have done business is not the way our youngsters or even 35 years less dealer principal want to do that. They need more freedom. They want to become more creative. They want to change the way we have done. I'm happy that I'm in this panel, but in the end, I'll be more happy if I learn something from the grade 3 panelists and could implement in my dealership and across the dealerships. So overall, no doubt, disruptions are there. Electric vehicle is the biggest disruptor going forward. Today, we run our businesses in the base that there are 4 verticals from where we have to earn: sales, service, spares, and additional revenue. I don't know with electric vehicle, will there be any additional revenue or spares or service? So what disruptions will happen in future? We are already seeing three-wheeler happening. With the three-wheelers, there is no purpose of a dealer having a workshop or something. It's a two-bay PDI bay workshop and a battery change workshop. That's it. Similar things we are going through with the electrification in two-wheeler. Obviously, car or trucks or buses will be a difficult part to as compared to the two-wheeler and three-wheeler on the dealership. So we are also at the cusp of understanding what the electric vehicle will do to our dealerships operation and working, because the concept of running a dealership will change. The concept of viability will also change. Second thing, Rakesh ji gave a very good input on digitalization. Everybody, Hyundai, every company has launched, I'll not say launched, relaunched the digital experience of customers for the past 2 years post-pandemic hit us. And a lot of customers have converted at least 50% of physical interference, physical interaction with the dealers to the digital world. And overall, we are also happy because it actually helps us giving a seamless experience, because n number of training cannot get you the same experience with different consultant at the different dealership. That is the problem what we face across OEMs.
Vinkesh, you have spelled out very nicely that, and you have probably the dealership were very reluctant to accept that with the electrification of the fleet. The business model of dealership will change, the viability model will change, and that you have accepted. That's the that shows the importance of the change that has been accepted by a very important stakeholder of the mobility space. Just want to go to Tarunji and understand. Tarunji, you mentioned about the new business opportunities like subscription, etc. Just want to understand among your dealers, what kind of new business opportunities are opening up, and what kind of revenue support or business support you think they can be able to generate in those business areas, be it subscription, or you're talking about the tools or the business being developed around customer experience, or how to engage with the customer or servicing the customers. How are those business opportunities coming up? Do you have any example to share with us so that the fraternity can understand and learn from there?
Nabeel, as we all know that a couple of things have happened the last 2 years. Of course, many things have happened because of the pandemic, but specifically related to mobility, of course, from shared mobility, concept of smart mobility, and of course, more personal mobility has come in. Safe mobility has become very important. So, of course, earlier people were probably using, taxis. And in fact, we saw, if you remember 3-4 years back, so many OEMs were saying that probably the business is shifting towards taxis. Now, what is happening is a couple of things are happening. One is customers, suppose you are in a consulting project. Now you are posted in Bangalore for 2 months. Now you want a mobility which is safe, but you don't want to own a car, because if you own a car and then sell it after 2 months, it's a big loss. So you want to go for a subscription model. I'll share with you some numbers. If I see 2019, we had about 1,863 subscriptions. Hyundai. 2020, 2,870. 2021, 4,948. So just see from 1,860 to 5,000, 2.5 times, in fact, close to 3 times this subscription business, has come up. So very, very clearly, you can see that so many customers wanting subscription. Now, this is a great opportunity for dealers, not only to have this as an income, but also maybe sell more cars to the companies which are providing subscription, to have a much more connect with the customers. So this is one. Then leasing, even the leasing business, if you see, last year we saw close to 3,000, happening through leasing. So again, some great opportunity coming in. The third aspect of it is also how efficiencies are coming in. And Vinkesh talked about it, that so many customers, probably when the customer earlier was visiting the dealership maybe 3 times for one car, maybe now he is visiting maybe 1 time or 1.2 times to buy a car, which means that efficiency of the dealership is increasing. Concept called hyper-local marketing, Nabeel. Earlier dealer had to do so many small activities, which we call BTL, small melas and all, which were probably very expensive. Now the same concept has been digitalized, where a dealer near me, the customer searches dealer near me, and a hyperlocal marketing can get the dealer so many more inquiries, and which are much more quality inquiries, because he can cater to them, and he can customize his offers according to them, and be much more relevant. So I think, like I said, one is revenue opportunity which are coming in. Two is, of course, the cost optimization which are happening. One too many, the live showroom concept, the video conferencing which is happening with the customer. So all those things are, I think, bringing in a lot of improvements in the overall business model, which I believe will be a great thing going forward. And last but not the least, of course, EV, which we'll talk about as we go along today in the discussion, that how EV will also throw up some more opportunities, as far as dealership business goes.
I would like to just make a comment on your point of subscription. I see a lot of potential there. We did a study and we published that also on ETAuto. We find that there are a lot of takers of subscription model, but the cost structure right now is the biggest negative point. The price at which the subscription are being offered, that is the biggest bottleneck. Just want to understand another thing, since it is a dealership forum, I see most of the subscription business is being partnered with a third party. Mostly they are not dealership. Just want to understand, will Hyundai look forward to aligning with the dealers when it comes to providing subscription? Why are you going up, tying up with a new entity rather than giving this opportunity to dealership? Are dealership not ready, or they are reluctant to take up this business? Why are you looking for another options?
Nabeel, I think you're mistaken, because the business mostly is coming through dealerships only. Of course, subscription is like a partner, because they're experts in subscription, they are buying the cars and they are providing that service to the customers. But the business is obviously so the business is happening through the dealerships only. And of course, the sales of the cars are also happening through the dealership to these subscription companies. So I think it is a model which is evolving. You talked about cost. I think this is very important. But as you know, for any model, when it is starting, the costs are up. As volumes come, the costs keep on coming down. I think we have, as OEMs, as dealers, we need to have a very kind of a long-term view of this, that these are business opportunities which will, slowly the volumes will come, and probably the cost curve will come down. Same is true for EVs. When we talk about battery costs, everybody says, yes, we all know that EV penetration will go up, but probably today, maybe the penetration.
I'll bring Vinkesh here and understand from him. Vinkesh, we have seen a lot of startups have come and they are considered, they are expert in subscription service. I know the dealership's role is there in terms of delivery, in terms of providing the vehicle, but are dealers not capable enough? Can they not develop themselves into a complete 360-degree service provider in terms of subscription? That is one of the business that can emerge.
So Nabeel, obviously a very good question. It's an additional revenue, but I feel because in India, a lot of dealerships are father and son stores. Their capabilities to enter into such businesses is limited. But yes, there could be opportunities. Slowly and steadily, we are seeing a lot of corporates coming up, Landmark, Popular, Indus. If you start, you will find some at least 25-30 names in India now who are becoming big corporates and dealership. For them, this is a very good opportunity to enter, and I feel they know the business better than a subscription company. But one concern, which is not related to straight to Tarunji's remark, but slowly and steadily, what happens when these kind of support services increases? So like lease or fleets or subscription, the importance of dealer goes away, and dealer is just a location of delivery. So automatically, if Hyundai starts doing vehicle delivery at 25% for subscription model, so the additional revenue from those 25% goes for a toss. So when I sell a vehicle to lease today, I don't get insurance income, I don't get accessories income, I don't get any income. They just buy a vehicle from me. So that's another type of story, not linked to this discussion. We can do it later, I feel.
So very well, you rightly pointed that some of the dealership are capable, and I've seen they are doing this not on subscription. I know one of the name you took. One of them are running their own shared mobility company in South India. So I think the dealerships are also transforming themselves, especially in the passenger vehicle segment. Similarly, it is happening in commercial vehicle segment. We have seen Uberization of commercial vehicles. I want to understand from you, Vinod ji, what's happening there? What are the opportunity you are creating for the dealership, new business opportunities, and how is that shaping up? Because I see a lot of transformation in the last 2-3 years in the commercial vehicle space also.
In fact, in the case of trucks, the opportunity for the dealers have increased significantly because after BS6, a lot of electronics has gone into the vehicles. If earlier the trucks could be repaired on the roadside, now most of the trucks have to report at the dealerships because you don't have that competence available across, and it is very, very sensitive and delicate parts. So therefore, you need good, competent people to handle this new technology. So therefore, we have experienced that the vehicles that report at the dealerships after BS6, that number has increased significantly. Now, the customers, on the other hand, have become very, very, you can say, educated, and they are aware of various things, and their expectations have gone up significantly. They expect absolutely everything happening in less time, and they expect very high level of responsiveness. They expect very high level of transparency, and they expect service at their doorsteps. And therefore, wherever, for example, we have a cluster of trucks, in the case of commercial vehicles, we are now setting up on-site sports center. Like, for example, if 50 tippers are operating in one location, we reach the service at their doorstep. So the dealers have to be ready to adopt to all these type of experiences. On the other hand, if you look at the next generation technology, for example, now we are selling 100% of our trucks and buses with factory fitted telematics, very advanced telematics, and with live connection. Once you fit this telematics and the connection is live, so much information is generated, that you can do a lot of work over the air. You can provide predictive maintenance, you can provide remote diagnostics, and for example, this data which gets generated through telematics, that keeps on coming in our uptime center. Now, based on the analytics, we know it very clearly that so-and-so vehicle may have problem in the engine. Now, depending on the seriousness, we are able to advise the driver, either you take it to the service station or you stop there, otherwise your engine will cease. So it means it has created different type of situation as far as the customer is concerned. Now, he expects that all these things will happen. On the other hand, the dealers have to be ready to handle this type of new change. Now, they have to reach the customer locations. For example, there is some problem going on the road, and we report that this engine is going to have this problem. The dealers have to immediately send the service van. I think that is the type of expectation which the customers are having now, and at the same time, because of this new technology, the dealers are also able to map that what sort of problems happen on which type of routes.
Okay.
Like it all depends that how stringent is the route. If the route is road conditions are bad, there may be some specific part that may be required. So they need to store that part more. So now all that information is available through this telematics, so that they are better prepared to keep all those parts.
Those are very important, aspect of enhancing the technology or getting ready for the next gen dealerships.
Absolutely. And then
I'll come back to you and understand the other business opportunity, allied business opportunity that is arising up in the commercial vehicle space. But before that, let me go to Rakesh ji and understand. We have seen a lot of change in the way two-wheeler demand or three-wheeler demand was coming. And we see a lot of demand shifting towards electric vehicles also in two-wheeler and three-wheeler, especially for the last mile delivery or last mile connectivity. Rakesh ji, how do you see your dealers of two-wheeler and three-wheeler on exploring new business opportunity that is easy for them to diversify into, or that is easy for them to start it?
So firstly, Nabeel, I would say that keeping aside, these last 12 to 18 months, which is because of the pandemic, how things have got affected, and also beyond that, the economic conditions, that particularly for the two-wheeler and three-wheeler customer, remember 80% of these customers earn less than 40,000 rupees per month. So we are talking of that set of customers. These customers have got weakened economically quite a bit, and they have not rebounded like the upper half of the demand pyramid. But the underlying drivers for this industry are solid. The demographic of Indian population, the penetration of roads, the need for mobility, the public transport infrastructure is not keeping pace, penetration of retail financing, all converge to suggest that the two-wheeler and three-wheeler dealers are in a very, very good situation, notwithstanding the immediate 6 months or probably the forthcoming few months. They're in a very, very good industry. If it's not going to be ICE, it is going to be EV. One business opportunity, which I always keep wondering about as to why the Indian dealers let go, is scale. There are dealerships which are listed in stock exchanges in Mexico, forget US, forget Europe. They are listed in listed companies which are only dealerships in places like Mexico and Colombia. I have yet to come across a dealership which is listed in our stock exchange. And I think the more standardization and harmonization which happens, that means there should be ambition. The first business opportunity is geographic. Why can't a dealership have 50 stores, that kind of a thing? And OE, I can say it for us, it's very difficult, actually, I must confess to you, it's very difficult for a large OE to engage empathetically with a very small father and son dealership. We all try, but our DNA is not like that. We are in the corporate world. We find it easier to engage on a B2B basis, not on a, so we have to make a lot of effort. So I feel that, large dealerships, professionally run dealerships would also be something which an OE will look forward to. So I think scale is India, the large country, two-wheeler, three-wheeler is going to be a throbbing market. People should aspire to have 5, 10, 15, 20, 100 dealerships. I think that is a first opportunity. Second, I think Tarunji and Vinodji have already talked about it. See, the insurgents who are coming, people who are coming on the digital side, obviously they don't want to get into this whole thing of dealership. It's a difficult thing. Companies, legacy companies.
Do you see your dealers coming into shared mobility, like two-wheeler shared mobility? We see Rapido and all those have come. Why don't you see dealerships coming there? Why don't you see these three-wheeler dealership expanding their business into being a last mile connectivity service provider? What's the hitch? What's the challenge there that you notice?
The hitch is scale.
Okay.
Because you cannot run these businesses efficiently if you don't have scale. And it goes back to that same point. Then you can't attract good manpower. You can't put in good capital. You can't put in good systems, etc. If you don't have scale.
Fair point. On the scale side, Rakesh ji, I'll tell you, definitely Indian dealers need to really look at very seriously. But I'm happy to share that already one of the dealership group has got listed in Indian Stock Exchange, and I know at least 3 more dealerships are going to be listed in next 2-3 years. They are in the process right now. I'll see in this year only we'll
it's the
see
right
2-3 dealers. And I know dealerships who have over 100 outlets. I'm happy. But still, after that, I see some of the big dealers also, they're not very happy to be transparent in terms of sharing their details, numbers, public forum. They don't have any data available. So there is a lot of functional, cleanliness needed or hygiene needed to scale up the height of becoming a big corporate. That is very important point that you have raised. And I take it, and I think Vinkesh is listening, and he will also advise his colleagues and his members to be upright in terms of, being more professional and understand the scalability potential in the country right now they have. And I'm sure there are dozens of dealers who are already doing that. Next set of, subject that is very important here, Rakesh ji, is the electrification. I'll go to Tarun ji and understand from him, how do you see electrification changing the business aspect or business model for your dealership? Are you making them ready for that? Because we know that we are on the verge of moving to electrified mobility in India. So how are you trying to train your dealership? What are the opportunities that you see for them? Because a lot will change once electric vehicles come.
Yes, Nabeel, I think very well said. And of course, as you know, there has been a very strong push by the Indian government, both in the private and commercial space as far as electrification is concerned. And we are so excited to see that so many state governments have now jumped in terms of giving more and more support. Now we hear about the charging infrastructure also. There are a lot, so such favorable policies are there. So, I mean, my point is that there are so many opportunities now. The only thing is, yes, you need to change the mindset. You need to really look at this new model. Because if you remember, Nabeel, 30 years back, dealers did not look at insurance income or finance income as any income. They thought dealer margin is enough, But then they evolved around 2000, 2005. All these other incomes became much more important. I think another big transformation is definitely coming, where it is all about grabbing these new opportunities. Probably revenues from them will be slow to start with, but then the graphs will merge and intermingle, and then the revenues will start coming in. So opportunities are plenty, and you will have to have a mindset of also joining hands with mobility service providers. It is not that the dealership has to do everything. Like I said, there would be some experts, who would be good there. So OEM, dealer, the third party, everybody will have some, some say in terms of making a very robust business model. The whole idea is, are we willing to really look at these opportunities in a positive way? Also, we need to be patient. Sometimes we feel, oh, today everything should happen. I don't think, like where they say, everything is built on in one day. So the evolution has started, the direction has started, and in the charging infrastructure space, in the data space, in the connectivity space, because now so much information about the driving habits is coming in, which means probably we can customize insurance options for the customers. He will be, if you're a safe driver, maybe you will need less to pay for the insurance than somebody who is not such a safe driver. So my point is, more and more customers will want more and more customization, and this EV and connectivity will mean that we know much more about the customer, and we will be able to customize our options, whether it is at the OEM end or at the dealer end, to grab those opportunities and also make the customer journey more delightful.
Perfect. The evolution for new business opportunity for dealers have started off. Dealers need to be patient, having patience, and watch the space in terms of connectivity, in terms of charging infrastructure or the data. That's what Tarunji says. Vinodji, your thought on the commercial vehicle side. What are the new business opportunity you see once this electrification takes place there?
In fact, the electromobility in case of commercial vehicles, especially buses, it has disrupted the existing model totally, because the electric vehicle technology still it is an unknown animal. that how the vehicles are going to perform, what will be the battery life, what will be the costs and all that. So therefore, the government has put the condition, whatever tenders are, CESL now is coming out with 5,000 buses tender. Whatever tenders are coming out, they are saying that the OEM has to take the responsibility for complete 12 years of operation. So you have to quote at per kilometer basis running cost. So there is no, OEM is not going to get any price of the vehicle. He will only recover through per kilometer. And therefore, since OEM is going to become totally responsible, it means there will be a lot of collaborative work, much more collaborative work between the dealership infrastructure, charging infrastructure, and the OEM. Since OEM is going to be fully responsible and they are going to realize only per kilometer basis money, therefore, the focus on the costs, focus on the timely delivery, uptime, because you are guaranteeing everything now. You are guaranteeing that this buses will run so much kilometers uninterrupted. There will be so much uptime. There will be so much will be the conduct expected from the driver.
Commercial vehicle dealership probably can come and offer, pay per kilometer kind of,
They in any case will be involved because the entire ownership is with the OEM, and you would have seen everyone is starting a separate company for running the electric business. Now, why are they starting the separate company? It's all because you are going to become the operator. The OEMs are becoming operators. So we are going to run the buses for government. And now we can't run those buses in our own company, because we are the designers and manufacturers or the originally sale of those vehicles. But now that model is changing. So it means you are not selling now. Now you are operating those buses, and the cost, the capital cost, you have to fund yourself. So that is a new change which has come in because of the electromobility in case of, especially in case of buses. This is not true in case of two-wheelers or cars, but for buses, this is absolutely a very, very new disruptive model. Okay. So therefore, a lot of collaborative work with the dealers, that how we have to ensure that the buses run as per guaranteed uptime, and then the complete responsibility there. If you are not able to provide uptime, you will not get the money. And if you don't get the money, it means you are not even recover the capital cost. You are not getting the money for sale of bus. You are going to get the money for operation of it. Then you are guaranteeing the battery life, that this battery life will be 5 years, 7 years. So I think it's
I'll bring Rakesh ji now. We are running out of time. I had to cut you short, and I'll come back to you again. Rakesh ji, what's your thought? Because three-wheeler, two-wheeler industry is something that is going to catch up with electrification first. In this scenario, how do you see your existing dealership, trying to make a business case in electrified world?
It's very similar to what my colleagues have said, that we have to look at two things. One is that we have to look at new sources of income, and subscription model, which Vinod talked about. It may be not entirely applicable, but to some extent it may be applicable. Then there are a lot of things around, the digital gamut of services which you can provide. First, the customer was coming to your workshop. Now you can go to the customer's place, and there are different categories of customer who will pay for different kinds of service levels. So I would say that developing new streams which are based on customer experience and a VIP customer experience is what something a dealership can aspire for. We have to also look at one thing, that both the OEs and the dealerships have to be ready to actually ride both horses for at least 5, 7, 10 years. It's not as if the ICE industry is going to continue to disappear immediately. The current penetration of high-speed scooters is only 2% of the scooters. And this 2% will go to 8%, 20%, 30%. But that still means over a period of 3 to 5 years, 50 to 70% of the industry will still be ICE. So as a result of which, we have to understand that the business operations are going to become complex. There is going to be the EV side, and there's going to be the ICE side. And a great opportunity is to take some learnings is to take some things which are happening on the EV side when it comes to customer service and put them all on the ICE side. So it's not that
I have one question, Rakesh ji. We have seen a lot of, with electrification, a lot of multi-brand, dealership, or you can say distributor or dealers have come up with the electric vehicles. A lot of them are in South. One of them is in Pune. They are trying to set up multi-brand dealership. They're open to sell all the electric two-wheelers. It doesn't matter which brand it belongs to. So do you think this will gain pace and single brand dealers will be lesser in number and only probably till the ICE engine goes? And also, we have seen some of the OEMs in electric vehicles, they are completely bypassing the dealership and they are trying to sell them directly. How do you see these two aspects? I'll also hear from Tarun ji before. First, I request Rakesh ji's views.
Yeah, those are two very important things you have raised, Nabeel. So when it comes to multi-brand replacing exclusive brands, I think I personally don't think that trend will become dominant. It will be there, but I don't think it will become dominant because, more and more the digital citizens are making or at least funneling their choices online now. And offline is basically to go and secure the deal, confirm it, validate it, and some mandatory requirements. So if a lot of that is happening already online, then people go to single brand exclusive dealerships for an authentic closure because they know that there is an authenticity about exclusive dealerships in terms of a perception which the customers have. So I don't think this multi-brand, it is a service, but I don't think it will become dominant. The second point was what, Nabeel, you had said.
Some of the OEMs are not having dealership. They're direct selling.
Yes, correct. I also alluded to it previously that some of the customers, some of the OEs are saying that we don't need dealerships. But I think with imagination, we can marry the best of what digital and EV have to offer and combine it with the physical experience. The category is such that there are many aspects, whether it's a test ride, whether how is the color looking, how do I look riding on the bike, the assurance of service. There are many physical aspects in the customer's journey which are still very relevant. And these, if they can be provided in a friction-free manner by the dealership, then we are combining the better aspects of the digital and leveraging the strengths of a physical capability. I think that would be best of both worlds. That is the way it should be driven, actually.
We have only 5 minutes left. So Tarunji, your thought on both the points quickly.
Yeah. So I broadly agree with what Rakesh said. And it's all about the customer. So the customer experience, like I said, some part of the journey may be physical, some part of the journey digital. Can he mix? Can he change from 1 to 2? So it's all about phygital or the omni-channel experience. I think that is most critical. Number 2, the importance of brand keeps on going up because customers are really looking at the brand equity. Okay, this is what this brand signifies. And I believe because more or less products are similar, the prices are similar, everything else is similar. So the importance of brand continues to go up. And lastly, we have all talked about how the role of dealer is changing. I think dealer is very relevant. Only thing is probably the role is changing. With customization, he's getting more opportunities to sell more accessories, to customize the car, to be much more closer to the customer, use different means to reach the customer. So if something goes down, something else will go up. So it's all about optimizing.
Do you think direct to customer is possible for OEMs, next generation OEMs?
Like I mentioned, the role of the dealer, I will again reiterate, it is all about the role of the dealer which is changing, and the dealer is very, very important in this chain. Yes, the role will continuously evolve. Yeah.
So Vinkesh, it is important that I bring you in, and I know that you are laughing. I just want to understand, does these discussion worry you about the dealership's importance or relevance, or how do you see your dealership fraternity transforming themselves to suit the new changes or to be part of the industry with the changing landscape? And how do you see them with electrification?
Nabeel, as I said before, thanks for this topic, and thanks to the leadership team of Auto to give us the comfort that dealers are there and will always be there. But no doubt, there are some issues which dealers are always facing. So, like electrification, that is one big hitch in dealers' mind, because the way they were working and the way the future is, that's where the mismatch is. Like you said, digital, no doubt, a very important thing, but I don't see any dealership reducing the infrastructure. So if we had to deal a customer 10 times at the dealership and we had 7,000 square feet of dealership, and today we are dealing only 5 times, have we reduced that 7,000 to 3,500 and reduced my cost of operation on the dealership? That is not happening. No doubt, some companies have come up with a smaller setup, but I don't see any dealership reducing their footprint. I'm seeing more dealerships coming in, more outlets opening in. So my point is, whatever disruptions are happening or whatever new things are happening, it should benefit somewhere also. So like Tarunji said, up and down has to go. So if digital is going up, so physical infra, manpower, quantity, I'll not say quantity, the what we say per productivity point of keeping manpower should also go down. I like two things to whatever, coming back to the original topic, new business opportunity. So Nabeel, we have just initiated 3 days back from FADA, have written to all the dealers of all India with 2 big opportunities. One is opening up a fitness cell, and the second is scrappage workshop. So we had tied up with the MORTH and got their detailed circular, which I've sent to all the dealers, whoever is interested in their current workshop or as an additional business. They can write to FADA, and then we'll organize an MORTH link meeting where we can promote that. So that's 2 more additional revenue for a dealership, what we are looking at. And I'm confident with the way how the government is talking about clean energy, the scrapping will become a big thing in future. And because of that clean energy and that regular scrapping, the fitness also will become, obviously, more of this in the car and the commercial vehicle segment, not in the 2-wheeler segment. So going back to Rakesh's original thing, the scale fact, sir, whatever dealerships Nabeel is talking about, he's not talking about 2-wheelers. He's talking about only cars. He's not talking about Vinodji's commercial also. All the dealers who have scaled up are only Tarunji's category dealers. So I feel somewhere the car dealers become more, I'll say, adapt to the changes, become more relevant to the industry, and they upgrade easily. But the commercial vehicle dealers and the 2-wheeler dealers are still need some handholding from the OEMs to scale up. You will not want, so commercial, still there were old dealers who were having big chains. I don't see them anymore. So the percentages have reduced. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but 2-wheeler, I don't find any dealer having more than 1 or 2 or 3 dealerships, whereas in car you will find more. So my request to both the fellow panelists and to the category leaders, so at least upgrade those kind of dealers also, so that they can think of scale, go for IPOs or shares or whatever they can.
Vinkesh, your answer to multi-brand dealership, and what's your thought on the OEMs directly trying to go to their customers? Briefly, just 30 seconds.
So multi-brand, I feel it should be open to the dealer with the interaction with OEM. If both are comfortable, it should be allowed. It shouldn't be a no. I'm not saying that multi-brand should be allowed to all the dealers. It needs a lot of capability to run a multi-brand showroom, because today, when we run a showroom having models, there also we face a problem, which model to sell more, we incentivize a model. So multi-brand would be a problem. So I feel a big chain who knows how to professionally run, they should be allowed, handholded by OEM, and can do that. Direct to customer, not a topic where I should comment, because obviously they are my enemies. So But overall, in the end, very frankly, the customer shouldn't be taken for a ride. That's it. We dealers are there as a mediator between an OEM and the customer, and our only job is working on their experience. We don't sell vehicle.
Thank you,
We sell
Vinkesh.
experience.
I have 1 minute left, and I'll take final word from Tarunji and understand from you. I'll only raise the point that raised by Vinkesh. He talked about, are we still continuing with the mega dealership? In the next 2-3 years, how many dealership do you expect from your brand to reduce the expenses in the real estate, in the heavy cost going in the manpower, the capital cost in terms of inventory? How are you going to ease that with the digitization or digitalization? Do you think the technology will enable to soften the biggest burden that dealer bears? Final word, and then we'll continue.
Nabeel, over my 28 years, I have seen this happen, and frankly speaking, probably Vinkesh will agree with me. We are already seeing this happen. In fact, last couple of years, we have come out with optimized setups, much smaller showrooms. So many dealers have shifted locations to reduce the rentals. So we are very fully aware of, the viabilities. And obviously we know that, like I said, that much of the customer journey is happening online. So, so we have to be aware of the reality and not really close our eyes to this. And I believe all the OEMs are thinking in that direction.
Have you reduced the square feet area requirement in your agreement? Have you reduced that? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Answer is yes. Number one. And number two, let me tell you, any new opportunity which comes in, we get so many opportunities, so many applications from the existing dealer partners. So we are so happy to see that in this new normal also, dealers are very willing to really invest with the OEMs and really expand their business and scale up, like Vinkesh said. So as far as passenger vehicles are concerned, I believe both OEMs as well as dealers have really evolved and adapted to this new reality and moving together, holding hands and really looking at each other's needs and see how we can really take care of this new evolving customer.
Nabeel, I'm 100% sure Tarunji will get a lot of Hyundai emails, dealers email of reducing the current infrastructure.
Thank you. That's the platform meant for. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining ETAuto Retail Forum 2022. I must say this has been very engaging and enriching discussion. We have come out with the opportunity, new business opportunity for the next gen dealership. Rightly, you have mentioned the scrappage policy has brought in a scrappage yards and also the testing centers that could come up. You can become a charging service provider. You can start a subscription model. So those are some of the key business opportunity for the next gen dealership that has come out in this discussion. Thank you so much once again for joining ETAuto Retail Forum 2022.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.